So someone saw that order that came in and was like, okay, let me print this. And then the
Trust
printer
me.
saw this picture and was like, okay, let me print it on cardboard. And then the transporting company picked it up and was like, this looks right. Let me transport it to the stadium. And then the person at the stadium who had to place it on the seat goes, this looks like a real person. Let me put him on B5. It's like, how would...
Welcome to yet another podcast from me and Kieran. What's this now, Kieran? Episode 6, I believe.
I think it's episode 6. Yeah, it must be episode 6, right?
Man, we've been going through these podcasts like nothing else. We've been... Oh, we need to do our trim check. Should we lift...
We need to do a trim check.
I've got a hat on, so I'll lift my hat up in 3, 2, 1. Oh... Nah, it's a madness. That's a problem, that is.
It's looking a bit mad.
Luckily, though, barbers are opening up soon, so...
Yeah.
Get that fresh trim on the go. How you
I'm
been,
like T-minus 8 days from my haircut, so I'm like counting down the days.
you got that countdown phone, app on your phone and everything, didn't it?
Exactly. I'm going to post a little Instagram story, which is like my countdown to my haircut.
Yeah, man. How you been?
It's going to be great.
How you been?
Yeah,
lately?
not too bad. Had a bit of an injury the other week. Decided to mix up being in lockdown. I'm not gonna show people watching because it is still a bit gross. But I took a big slice out of my finger whilst I was trying to remove the stone of an avocado.
Classic.
Which my uncle told me was a very middle class way to get injured. And when I was at A&E, I was speaking to the nurse, and apparently avocado injuries are quite common.
There you go. So you don't feel left out.
Yeah, I don't feel left out, and maybe people are as noobs with avocados as I am. So my sister's bought me this 3-in-1 avocado cutter.
Oh,
so it's
wow.
It's got something to cut the avocados, got a scoop to take out the stone, and then it's got this thing that you put over it, and it kind of just slices it up, it cubes it up.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if I use that in the future, I should avoid any further injuries. But yeah, so my left finger's a bit meh, but I'll survive. Everything's working normally.
Hopefully these edits will be nice, eh?
Yeah, well, it'll be one-handed edit, right? One-handed edit. Forget the keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah, forget those out of the window now.
Yeah,
Cool.
Exactly. How you been, man? What's been new with you?
Yo, I've been sleeping more. That's one thing. I told you earlier, jealousy was felt.
Do you think that's because you're tired, though? Do you think you're tired, that's why you're sleeping more? Or do you think, you don't have anything,
immediate
actual deadline to
Yeah.
go, to be up for something or something, and so your body's kind of just way in this relaxed mode and is sleeping longer? Which one of those do you think it is?
I reckon it's it's definitely not tiredness, that's for sure. I'm not really doing anything to tire myself out. I'm not being exercise as much as well. That's what I found out. The motivation to exercise, I guess it's this momentum type of thing, right? Where when you've got things to do, then you do more things because you've completed certain things. So your body feels that excitement from getting things done, I guess. But yeah, man, it's I see it as a relaxing week. I'll take my relaxing week.
But do you sometimes find though when you haven't done much, you find it really difficult to go to sleep because you haven't done anything to get tired?
Yeah, man, that's 100%
those are peak
true.
days because you're it's nighttime. I've had a relaxing day. I needed a relaxing day, but now I can't sleep, and then it's I've got work tomorrow or something. It's I need to sleep.
Yo,
that's really frustrating.
That is 100% true. Plus, I like getting things done. I like being productive. It feels good, right?
Yeah.
So another person that's also been productive, I'm sure you can guess who it is Kanye West.
Oh, hold on. Before we get into Kanye, that was a nice segue. But I got one final question for you on the whole sleeping thing. So,
okay.
given like obviously the day we're recording this and this week, like the weather's been a madness.
Oh my word.
And it's been super warm. What tips do you have for anyone for sleeping at night when it's warm? Because I'm telling you, everyone has something, like everyone struggles with that. And I guess I have some tips, but I wonder whether you have any kind of things that people could do.
Alright, I'll go with my tips. Yeah, my tips is drink hella water at night and sleep naked. Straight naked.
What, with your willy out?
Oh, bro, when you put it like that. Jesus Christ.
Really? I've never done that. I find that so weird and awkward.
Well, you've got something new to try tonight.
Well, I sleep in my boxers, right? And I, like, for me, that's like, because even that, I don't know, maybe this is just me, right? But I always used to sleep in pajamas. Like, even in the summer. Even in the summer, I'd be like, pajamas. Yeah.
Facts.
But now, I find it so weird, like, wearing pajamas.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, bro, like, you sleep naked, man. That's weird. I never understood people that did that. I always thought that was bare weird, man.
What do you do?
I always thought that was bare weird.
What's your tips?
Mine, like, the thing that really works for me is the one leg outside the duvet.
Oh, yeah.
Not two legs.
The flip of the
but
pillow,
one
innit?
leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, and like it just works because then you get a bit of cold from the outside and a bit of warm from under the duvet.
That's
but like, you know, the standard things as well, like keep the window open. Like that's nothing crazy, but like.
Oh wait, do you like keeping the window open?
Yes.
Mad, yo, I can't do it, bro. I know there's something about bugs that just like annoy me, bro.
But do you sleep with do you have curtains in your room?
Yeah, so I got the blinds, and then I recently got like the blackout curtains because yo, during lockdown I weren't waking up at like 5 a.m. or anything, man. So the sun was waking me up and like making me hot as well. So I thought,
waking up super early.
Yeah, I had to get blackout blinds for this.
I don't understand people who sleep with no curtains.
That's
like for me, it needs to be pitch black.
Yeah, facts.
I can't sleep with like a night light or any crap like that. It needs to be pitch black.
Well, that's what like, that's how it used to be, because there's a neighbor across the street and she has like these garden lights that are hella bright, and it's been on for years and years and years, right? But I've only just realised this lockdown that was providing like the night light and everything, because obviously at like 12 the street lights go off. Well, where I live anyway, like in my close, the street lights go off, and I was thinking, why is it still so bright at like night time? And I just clocked this lockdown after years and years that is actually the woman opposite with like the brightest garden lights. Yeah, man, like you're trying to catch like every criminal known to man or something. Yeah, it's a madness. So yeah, these blackout lights have done wonders. But I found it weird at first because I guess her lights were kind of like a night light, so like it being pitch black was a bit weird.
Wow. Well, talking about shining lights, as you segued earlier.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Kanye, right? And the business deals he's been making in lockdown. He's making some very interesting ones, hasn't he?
Indeed, so man. So what we got for the first one?
So they've got that partnership. I think it was just announced today, right? Where he's partnered with Gap for a kind of, I think it's a menswear, women's wear, and kids wear range at Gap. I think from what I read, it will be under the brand Yeezy as well. So it's not going to be like just Gap branding, but it's going to be Yeezy branding in Gap. But yeah, what do you think about that, man? Gap's an interesting brand. Like,
so I was
Gap's kind of been dying, I think. No?
Yeah, man. So I was gonna ask, what was your view on Gap before all of this, like Yeezy stuff?
Well, Gap's one of those interesting ones, right? Like, I don't know about you, but like previously, before, like Gap was mainly just for like essentials. Like, you know, like plain t-shirts, and everyone had the kind of standard Gap hoodie or t-shirt or something. But it wasn't really like, there were big stores in the UK, like there was one on Oxford Street and stuff like that. But I always felt like Gap was way bigger in America,
100%,
than it was here. But yeah, it's in the UK, it's been kind of like a a dying brand.
Yeah.
For the maybe like last 5-10 years, you see less and less stores, you see less and less people wearing kind of Gap stuff out and about. I'm trying to think if even I have any Gap stuff, and I don't think I do. No, I have no Gap stuff. So interesting, but obviously, if there's any reason for people to go back to Gap, anything with the branding Yeezy on it, that's going to get the people flocking back, no doubt, back to Gap.
Yeah, bro. Like Kanye, if he puts his name on it, then that's it, man. It's gonna somehow become like this hype beast type of product.
Yeah,
like, it's gonna be like collectibles and all this stuff, but hopefully he's not gonna make it like that, and he's gonna make it like really like simplistic, like maybe like neutral colors and stuff.
Yeah,
and actually target what he was saying about for all these years. I think like 2015 he was speaking about this, like I'm gonna be the Steve Jobs of Gap and all of this stuff.
Yeah,
and he's really trying to make this like brand into something, probably reviving it, to be honest.
He's probably going to rescue Gap, isn't he?
Yeah. Their stock jumped like 42% or something crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, wow, like the power of one man could do this.
Yeah, that's mad. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like, you made an interesting point there. I think it will be. We'll wait and see what happens, whether they kind of follow the whole limited release stuff, or whether they decide to go for the more, mass market, make Yeezy available to everyone.
Yeah.
Which, some of the collectors may not want, but actually, I think if it does become mass market and like it's available to everyone, the kind of older Yeezy stuff that collectors may have now would become even rarer.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, I have limited edition Yeezy stuff before it went mainstream.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting, right? Because, you look at like some of the recent Yeezy stuff, like the basketball shoe, the flip, the sliders they made. That they look a bit strange.
Very.
They're not as, like the old like 350s were very, they were like very. They could be worn by most people, right? And most people could pull them off.
Yeah,
Whereas some of these new ones, like
that confidence level's got to be there, innit?
Yeah, you gotta be quite edgy to wear them, and I'll be interested to see what avenue this whole Gap partnership goes down. Whether it goes down a very kind of unique and individual look, or whether it kind of, is just like, appeals to the masses. So it'll be really interesting to see how that relationship happens. I think it's like a 10-year partnership they've agreed.
Yeah, man, 10 years.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of sales, as well as like the types of clothing they produce. So, but yeah, like, we'll see more Yeezy stuff, right? That can only be a good thing. I think one of the most interesting things about the whole kind of partnership is that you kind of take it all the way back to Kanye's kind of younger days, and he actually started. I think one of his first jobs was at Gap, like however many years ago. So it's crazy that you've kind of gone full circle,
right?
From, from working in one place to now being, like owning a clothing line in that store. And just on that point, talking about kind of first jobs or your first jobs, what was like your kind of first proper like job that you got decent money for?
I would say my first proper job. So I did like the work experience thing. I'll say it was Next, actually. Does that mean I'm gonna like open like a clothing brand in Next and sell it in Next or something?
Maybe that's what's written in the stars.
It might be, Yeah.
SKP at Next.
Yo, could you imagine? SKP
it's gonna be SKP at Next.
Yeah, nah, I definitely. Yeah, man. Thank you, Next. Bro, alright, Grande. But yeah, man, like, Next, man, clothing, retail, gotta love it. You gotta love it.
What were you in the front?
Yeah.
Or in the back?
Well, I started like I said, it with the sales stuff, innit? It was started off at the back and like doing the tags and everything, and then we got pushed to the front, start sell, and then just like building customer service, I guess, man. It was a good journey. I'd say it was a pretty long one, to be fair. Probably not as long as what I'm working now, but definitely, it was a good run. It was a good run.
What would you say was the best bit and the worst bit about working at Next Retail?
So I would say like the best bit working in retail at Next was definitely wearing like suits and stuff, like smart clothing. I love that, man.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
bro.
That's really interesting because like, I don't know about you, but I feel so much more normal in like casual clothes. Whenever I dress up and I have to kind of dress up for work and stuff like that, I don't know. I don't fully 100% feel myself. Like, I feel myself only in a pair of tracksuits, really. So what was, I guess, if that was the best bit, then what was the worst bit of working at Next? I'm sure there was many.
Yo. It probably like things to do with the stock room, man. Just like it was so like raggedy, man. Like things were
Really?
neat, bro. Like I love neat things. Like it was like dusty and like, Next, man, get your stuff sorted, innit, bro? Like,
I never understand that. Like in the sales when there's just like, clothes everywhere and stuff like that. It's like, why would you want to buy that stuff? Even if it is like 40% off or something. It's like, I don't know. I don't understand that. And I guess from what you're saying, it's kind of like like that in the stock rooms as well.
What was your first job?
My first job was similar to you, so working in a retail store.
Yeah.
I worked at Orange,
Okay.
which became EE.
Yeah.
So this was whilst I was at uni, so I was a bit of a late bloomer. I never really worked whilst I was in sixth form or anything like that. But yeah, so I used to work. What did I used to work? Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Obviously, alongside doing all of my uni stuff, and yeah, it was interesting. Like it was obviously like my first kind of job. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And kind of just learning about like, working with other people and stuff like this.
Yeah. Would you have to sell like contracts and stuff? Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So it would be kind of, contracts, pay as you goes, all this type of stuff.
Lovely.
And then we would have targets about, wanting to sell, X many like, SIM only contracts.
Oh, okay.
But that was the bit that I kind of didn't like.
Yeah.
Like you had the targets, which meant that you had to kind of push a certain kind of product.
Yeah.
And the bit that kind of I've struggled with is like sometimes that isn't the right thing for the customer.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh shit, I need to meet my target, so I should probably try and sell this person try and force them a SIM only. Whereas actually maybe based on their usage, probably a pay as you go is maybe better.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That's the bit that I found I kind of struggled with. But the good thing was like particularly with phone stores, you would get like a basic wage.
Okay.
But they used to pay really, really good commission as well.
Okay.
And the commission would be better if you sold like a premium phone on a premium contract.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be like too much. There'd be a little bit of commission, but not a huge commission, because that's not a really difficult sell.
Right.
Because the customers that really want the top end devices are the ones that are prepared to pay, at that time, which was like your £30-40 a month. Once I was able to sell like the most basic of phones, like
some like trap phone.
Yeah, well, it was called the Doro phone, and I'll flash up a picture for anyone that hasn't seen the Doro phone. But basically, it's like a phone for old people, right?
Okay.
So it's like it was a flip phone.
Yeah.
It's got huge keys. It's got a huge like keys 1 2 3 4 5 7 8 9.
Oh my days.
And it's got like a very basic screen, and stuff like this. And I sold that phone, which was available free from like £12 a month or something. I sold it on like a £45 a month contract. And it was something mad. I got something along the lines of like nearly £200 in commission from that one sale.
What the hell? How?
It was mad.
What?
It was mad. I was gassed.
You cashing in, bro. You cashing in at young.
But actually, like in that situation, it genuinely was the right offer for the customer,
right.
which is why it felt even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird as well. Like I was working like close to university as well, and so I used to get people come into the store who I used to study with.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it'll be like people that I'm like in a group project with at uni, and then on the weekends they come to buy a phone or something, and it's like I'm serving them. It was really weird.
Do they get mate rates?
But yeah, but that here was the thing, right? So you only got, I think it was 4 or 6 friends and family codes a year.
Okay.
Every 12 months.
Right.
And that would give you, back in the day, was 40% off your monthly contract.
Well, that's quite a lot still.
But now it's 30.
Okay.
So like sometimes they would, but like only if I really, really knew the person, like it was someone I was living with or something like that. Like other people, I was like, why should I give it to you?
Yeah, literally.
You know, I'd rather give it to my mum and my dad, right, than a randomer. But that was my first job, and I think retail is one of those things that I think everyone should experience at some point.
It is definitely fun, man.
It's definitely a learning experience.
Yeah, definitely like a learning experience. Get to see what's on the other side, type of thing.
And it's interesting, just like you never, when a customer walks into the store, you just never know, like, is this going to be an easy customer, a difficult customer? Is it going to be
a Karen?
Gonna be hilarious? Yeah, is it going to be a Karen? Okay, so I'll tell you this one story. And this lady very much was a Karen. So I would say this was when the iPhone 4S came out. So like way back. And this mum came in with her daughter, and she was buying the new iPhone 4S for her daughter. So we'd done all the paperwork. I got them to sign everything. I did all the things, and I said, I'm just going to go to the back, get the device for you, and then just scan it through the system and stuff like that.
Right.
So I was doing that, and then I was like, obviously we offer a service to like set the phone up for them as well.
Yeah.
You know, like insert the SIM card. You know, really basic stuff that anyone can do. But you know, we offer the service, right?
Any extra bit of cash in it?
What's that?
Any extra bit of cash?
Yeah. Well, no. It was free service. It was a free service.
Okay.
It was a free service. So anyway, the girl was like, yeah, and obviously like she was really excited and you know all this type of stuff, and like obviously like you know how iPhone boxes open, right? Like you kind of the top bit lifts up.
Yeah.
And then the phone and the rest of the box is in that.
Yeah.
Is in the kind of the bottom bit. And I don't know why I did so many iPhones, right? Because iPhones were the most popular phone that people were buying.
Right.
But I kind of was holding the box, but I lifted the lid up without supporting it at the bottom.
Oh snap!
And the shop had like a granite tiled floor, like a matte granite floor.
Okay.
And the phone just went douche, and it fell on the floor.
Oh no!
And my heart went oh my god! My heart was racing.
Yo, that's mad.
And you should have seen the look on the mum's face. She was like, luckily there was no physical damage to the phone.
Yeah.
Because there's a very strict rule, particularly in phone shops. Like if you break something or something, it comes out of your wages, right?
Right.
And I wasn't earning, you know, loads
Yeah,
that I could have taken an iPhone out. But the mum was like, bring over the manager. I want a new phone.
Yo.
Blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, calm down. Look, I can show you. Look, there's no physical damage. We can still turn it on. It works fine. All this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And the daughter was kind of still so excited about getting the phone. She was like, Mum, calm down. It's fine. Look, he's showing us it's working and things like this. And I was so thankful to that daughter because she basically saved me like 600 quid. But oh my god, that was a
panicky time, bro.
Painful moment. Oh my god. And luckily everything worked fine and they kind of went away with the phone.
Yeah.
But
what a Karen experience though it is.
Oh my god, she could have made my life horrible. But luckily the daughter saved
the day in it.
Yeah, man, she saved my bacon.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, these first jobs in retails are fun. Yeah, we urge everyone that's listening to go and get one. Just experience one for the jokes, innit?
Yeah, man.
And for the cash.
It's like, just it's like you never know what's going to happen. Every shift could be like either the quietest shift ever, or like just crazy and ridiculous in some way, and just like dealing with all sorts of BS that comes from customers. It's it's an interesting challenge, and it really does kind of help and prepare you for, you know, any job really where you're going to need to talk to people and listen to other people's opinion and you know, and try and kind of find the right solution for them, whatever it may be. So it's definitely worth exploring or trying if you haven't, particularly given lockdown, right, where some people maybe have lost their jobs or on furlough or things like that. Retail is something that is kind of starting to open up now and everything. So use it as an opportunity to get out, get some retail experience, and maybe you'll learn a thing or two.
Yeah, bro. Well, I would like to relate this kind of back to the previous podcast and like what's been going on recently during this lockdown, and it's obviously like the Black Lives Matter movement, and we'll put it in the link below, but Complex have come out with 50 black owned businesses, so I thought I'd just throw that out there just so you know you could support the brands.
Yeah, it was an interesting list. I would say there was probably like, of the 50 there was probably like 10 that I knew. Bro. There's lots that I hadn't heard of and definitely will be checking out. But I think it's like it's really important to one, promote and kind of support these black-owned businesses, particularly in kind of in industries that are, you know, not traditionally and still are very dominated by kind of white people. It's really important to kind of support and, you know, buy from these black brands and you know, kind of help them grow, and not only just for that reason, but some of these guys produce really cool clothes, right? Like,
they're actually
some
sick,
of the stuff is good.
Like, Fear of God stuff, obviously you got Yeezy, Off-White, the goats, but yeah, man.
What, just on that, just on Fear of God, what like I really, really like Fear of God stuff. It's just a bit too expensive.
It's pricey. I think is my problem. Hella pricey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it because like the tees are really nice. I like the tees, and like they came out with some like trainers and stuff. I think that's what they were like basing a lot of stuff from, right? But I love the stuff.
Yeah, they did a.
It's like
they did
Jerry
a collab
Lorenzo,
with Nike.
Right?
Yeah, Jerry Lorenzo is the guy.
And he made some like really nice Nikes, right? Have you seen those?
Yeah, I know which shoes you're talking about. They were really, really nice, but they were like £350 for them, and I was like, that's a bit steep, you know. It's just a bit steep.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
you do gotta do what you gotta do, but like 350 quid for those is a bit much.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do it.
But on that note, I saw a really funny TikTok the other day. It was like Asian guys go to any length to show their red bottoms, and it was literally like a guy like walking down somewhere and like purposely stacking so that he could like flash his red bottoms to the girls walking past the other way. I was like, that's I've seen that so much. Like the way people walk when they have red bottoms is so like deliberate, where they like kick their heel up so that you can see the sole of their foot. Is mad, man. People are.
Yeah, that was hella funny.
People are crazy for their red bottoms.
It's so true. Like even the way they'll be sitting, kind of just like any way, like they put their feet up on something just to flash these red bottoms.
It's mad, isn't it, man? That is like great, like product marketing.
100%, man.
It's like it's something that's part of your design, but
genius.
You don't even have to write anything. If you see a red bottom shoe, you know what it is.
Yeah, man.
Right? And there's very few products where you know what it is without seeing any text.
Yeah.
So that's incredible product marketing. But yeah, like it's so funny the way watching people like flex. And maybe this is another video. I'm sure we can find some funny videos of people flexing. But yeah, watching people flex is so funny. It's incredibly funny.
Yeah, man, there's some hella funny videos on TikTok. Like, I love these videos where they just take the piss.
Do you know what the problem is? Do you know what the problem is, right? And maybe we can get away with saying this, but it's always Asians.
You know what? It's the flex.
It's always Asians.
It's the flex. It's they'll have like some like Primark tee on, and they'll flex their like super expensive watch. I'm just like, come on, man, like.
No, it's the
my
belt,
bad.
bro. They'll wear the Primark shirt with the LV belt. With the LV belt. You know the one I'm talking about as well.
Yeah, bro. Who wears
That's classic.
like a shirt
Classic.
underneath their belt buckle, bro?
It's so funny.
Yo,
man.
I was so dead. We need to make some like rip tape videos of this. But
Yeah.
yo, you were saying earlier, talking of like the whole Asian stuff, right? Like shaddy.com. You want to mention about that?
Yeah, well, they had obviously, like, you know, over the past couple of months, like everything about skin color and that has a history of racism, whatever.
Yeah,
everything's kind of being questioned and attacked. And shaddy.com, for any of you guys that don't know, is a kind of dating site for Asians. It's one of the most popular ones. It's been around for years.
Bro, years. I thought it was a person, you know, like, cousin started saying, like, shaddy.com. I thought it was a person at first. I was like, what are you on about shaddy, bro? Like... Shaddy
in Hindi means marriage, right? So
yeah.
It's not even a dating thing. It's like a marriage thing. It's like, if you're going on shaddy.com, you're looking for someone to wife. You're not looking for a one-night thing or anything like that.
Mad.
But yeah, so basically the reason they were in the news is because they had I think it was a filter or some like tick box that you could check that would make your skin lighter.
Mad.
On like your profile picture, which is mad. Like, but it's very in keeping with kind of what's very common in India.
Yeah.
So like there are lots of products and adverts and movie stars promoting things to like lotions and creams and stuff.
Lighten skin, right?
Yeah, and it's a real problem in India, right? Like, I don't know how it's happened and how it's happened over time, but there's this kind of association between looking good and being a lighter skin.
Yeah.
Which is weird because everyone that's light skinned wants a tan.
Right? Yo,
baffles me.
Yo, it's so true, bro. I've had people be like, I wish I was your skin colour type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, what now?
And here we got brown people trying to be like the white people. It's like, guys, what are you doing? But
ain't nobody happy in 2020, man.
You can't please no one. But yeah, so I think basically that was in the news because they had that, and you know, you can't like that can't be a thing.
That cannot be a thing. Jesus Christ.
That's the kind of stuff that needs to get cancelled real quick in 2020, and I think it has.
Yeah.
I think they've said they're going to remove it, which is probably too late. But you know what I don't get? Like, I don't get who's sitting there developing shaddy.com and someone's gone, yo, let's add a feature to lighten someone's skin, and everyone else has gone, yeah, that's a sick idea, bro. let's add that. Let's add a feature to like who isn't there someone there, like, or are they all just yes men? But
Probably.
Is there not someone going, guys, do you realise what we're promoting if we have this? Like I don't know. It's sometimes
it baffles me, bro.
This stuff, like, I don't understand. Like, all these people make these decisions. Like, okay, so here's another one, right? Which is quite a funny one, and it's related to football.
Okay.
So obviously football has returned, right? And there's obviously there's no crowds in the stadium.
Yeah.
They're all played behind closed doors. But what some clubs have done is that supporters could pay for like a cardboard cutout of themselves.
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, you've seen this, right? Yeah. For a cardboard cutout to be like in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what was the team. I can't remember the team.
I can't remember the team. No.
But one club in the stadium, someone had, obviously as a hoax or something, paid to have a picture of Bin Laden there. And it's like so someone saw that order that came in and was like, okay, let me print this. And then the printer saw this picture and was like, okay, let me print it on cardboard. And then the transporting company picked it up and was like, this looks right, let me transport it to the stadium. And then the person at the stadium who had to place it on the seat goes, this looks like a real person, let me put him on B5. It's like, how did so many people miss it, man? It's crazy. Like,
oh my days,
it's madness. Like, how, I don't understand, man.
Oh, trust me, bro. Like, that's what I think about. You know, when all these brands get done for like racism and stuff like that, it's like, it's gotta be intentional, man. Like Gucci's like blackface sweater type of thing, where they had the red lips over the turtleneck type of thing.
Maybe it is any publicity is good publicity. Maybe that is true. particularly when we have cancel culture like we have now, I think that's a risky game to play because you can get cancelled as quickly as you could be a hero, right?
Yeah. Like, you could do as many good things, but you do that one wrong thing, that's it, mate. You're finessed.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
But everyone's saying let's cancel culture. But you know what? So I think some people need to be cancelled. You know.
Do you understand the irony in that, though? Right? You want
You're
to
still
cancel culture.
You're still cancelling.
Yeah, but on that point of cancel culture, it's become a real kind of byproduct of social media where there's no. The thing that frustrates me about cancel culture is, so if someone does something in the moment when they're an older person or mature or whatever, then I understand why people call for that person to be stripped of, the privileges they have.
Yeah.
But what I find really difficult is when people dig up stuff from people's past, like sometimes even like 10, 15 years in the past.
Yeah, like the Kevin Hart situation, right?
Yeah, exactly. The Kevin Hart situation. There's loads of examples of YouTubers and Twitter and Twitch streamers and stuff like this where people have taken an action that was happened in the past. And I'm not condoning what they did in the past, but
no, of course not.
Just eliminating any kind of growth or kind of remorse they had for their mistake and just going, no, you made that mistake, therefore you're gone. And that's really toxic.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, really toxic that people behind a keyboard essentially have the power to really, completely change someone's life from sitting in front of their computer. And I think, it's just really toxic, man. The whole cancel culture kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think obviously people make mistakes in their past and. They shouldn't be then punished for that over time, over a long period of time, when they've clearly improved and they're not doing those things anymore. But
yeah,
people gotta bring up gotta bring up stuff, eh?
Yeah, people just gotta and here's the kind of thing that is frustrating all about it, and maybe it's more prevalent now that it's on social media, but maybe it was always there. But I don't understand why people get a dig out of taking other people down. I don't understand the kind of rationale where someone feels like they have to, make someone feel bad about something or kind of just be negative about everything. I'm just like, what? That must be a really, really sad life if that's what you have to do.
It's one of them things, isn't it? It's either there's two ways of building the biggest building in your town. Either build the biggest building or knock down everyone else's building. And I think
that's true.
People are getting lazy nowadays and they're just knocking down everyone else's building just to
it's easier to, right?
Yeah 100%. But
it's crazy.
Yeah, one building that we ain't gonna knock down is Apple Park, bro.
Yeah, well, they partly nearly got cancelled.
Yeah.
The whole App Store stuff.
Yeah, mad, the 30% stuff, right?
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, when you buy an app from the App Store, Apple takes 30% of however much you pay.
Mad.
Which is kind of dubbed the Apple tax.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the money goes, back to the developer. Now, what they are, so it kind of, it all got circulated about this one email app called Hey. I think it's called Hey. Yeah, Hey.
Okay.
And what they were doing was that they were basically directing people to sign up on their own website.
Right.
So that they could avoid that kind of Apple tax and they could sign up directly. Now, Apple basically made or kind of were very adamant / made them change so that they were only able to buy via Apple, so that Apple could take the 30%.
Damn.
So there was the big uproar about that's very manipulative by Apple.
Yeah.
And they're kind of taking kind of money from developers because there's a rule on the App Store that you can't publish an app that basically can't do anything without a subscription, if you know what I mean.
So you can't publish an app that can't do anything without a subscription.
Correct.
Wow.
So I can't publish an app where the only way you can do anything on it is by creating a paid account.
Okay.
The problem with that is there's one very, very common app that breaks that rule, and that is Netflix.
Oh.
If you download the Netflix app, you can't do anything unless you have a paid Netflix subscription, right? There's no browse, there's no free browsing on Netflix. There's no explore. There's no here's 10 free movies to watch or anything.
Oh, what's that?
So I don't know how Netflix got around it. Maybe because Netflix is so big and huge that they
Apple just allowed them to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was an interesting thing, and Apple nearly got cancelled for it. And what they've done as a result of that is, I think for the Hey specific case, they've allowed them to redirect customers to their website.
Okay.
But they've also put in like an appeals process.
Yeah.
So that if Apple ever say, we're not accepting it because you need to do it this way, the developer has an opportunity to kind of respond to that and appeal it.
Okay.
Which is good to see, a step in the right direction. But obviously, like, they had bigger things to announce, right?
Bigger things. WWDC 2020.
Yeah.
Which must have been pretty awkward for Apple, not gonna lie, like with all this developer 30% situation going on, and then
that was the whole thing, right? Yeah, exactly. That's why their timing of it was interesting.
Yeah,
it was interesting to see whether they addressed it or not.
Yeah.
They kind of addressed it in WWDC, not really, but yeah, I think they were focused on the other big things that they wanted to announce. Really.
So did you watch it?
Yes, I did watch most of it.
Okay.
There were parts of it. Honestly, there are parts of it that are boring and that just drag on a bit.
Yeah, it was. But
yeah, I'm kind of just interested in like the introductions of features and things like that, and then when they go into the detail, it's a bit like, ugh.
Yeah. It's alright. So,
but what do you think of iOS 14?
So a lot of people are saying that it's like an Android update, which I totally get because I used to rock Android phones back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah, and to be fair, mate, the things they're doing now is not much different. Like all this.
Wait, hold on. What made you switch? I didn't know that. I've always thought you were an iPhone fanboy.
Nah, so it started BlackBerry. I was a BlackBerry boy.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
but that was just because of BBM, right? That wasn't any other.
Oh
reason.
yeah, true. And then I went on to like Samsung, like the Samsung S2 was the first one that I got, and then
Galaxy
S3,
S2,
4, 5.
OG.
I think I went up to like 4, maybe more, 4 or 5, S4 or 5, and then I got the iPhone 5. And I was like, this iPhone 5 feels so like, it's just like one of the best phones out of the market. It was just so sleek, classy, and I felt like it empowered me. You know, when I was speaking about my Mac and how I watched like loads of videos, just like empower me and like make me feel cool, like, and it was the same situation, bro. Like, when you hold these phones, because Apple do their marketing so well, and you know what, their products are actually pretty good anyway. So yeah, man, iPhone 5, then 6, 7.
The rest is history.
And the rest is history.
Well, so iOS 14, so iOS 14 was interesting. I think the main things to take away from it are widgets on the home screen.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Which is why I call it like an Android update, because I used to have those widgets, the same exact widgets, man. Like,
yeah, back in the day, way back when, right?
What apps do you think that would be good for like widgets though?
Oh, good question. I think other than the basic ones like weather, battery, stocks. Who the hell checks stocks, man? I don't understand.
Oh, get out of here.
I never understand that. They always show it. It's like, who's got stocks on their flipping iPhone?
But you know, like
widget?
loads of people probably doing it.
Doesn't make any sense. I think like I'd like maybe like a Twitter one.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But I don't know how much information it could really show.
That's the thing, isn't it? I think because they have like different sizes, you can maybe create how much space like what it shows and stuff, like whether it shows like your favorite tweets chronologically or your favorite
Yeah, I don't
person
know.
or whatnot.
I think photos could be interesting if it showed like just a random photo from your camera roll, like every 5 minutes. I think that'd be cool.
Would
'cause
you
then
want
can
that
see
though?
like, well, yeah, it depends on like how dodgy your photos are, but like it'll be nice to like see a photo and be like, oh, reminiscing of
Yeah, man, that'd be hella
know,
cool.
that time or something like that. Or maybe you can select it so that it only rotates through the
Like your
photos that you
favourites or
favorited.
something.
Yeah. Or like just one album or something like that. Maybe.
Maybe we
but
could
yeah,
Apple
like,
ideas, you know.
Yeah, maybe we should join the team, eh?
Maybe. Who knows that?
But
Wait, maybe we are part of the team already, but people don't know.
Maybe. Well, I'd see. So I don't. So obviously they have the developer beta as well.
Yeah.
The public one that is already available. I've never really kind of signed up to those.
Nah, man, it's like 79 quid. That's why. I think the public one is coming out in July time. So
Not only that though, but like, I only have one iPhone.
Yeah.
And the reason it's in beta is because it's very buggy.
Yeah.
Things
that
to
work,
resolve.
right,
And
yeah.
when I use my phone as my kind of daily phone for all of my personal needs, I don't want it to then be buggy.
Yeah.
Like if you have a spare one, then yeah, maybe. But
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm not flush with iPhones that I can just run other ones. But I guess other than iOS 14, they released the new macOS, Big Sur.
Ooh, Big Sur. What change of name, man? Did you see they were like rinsing other companies for stealing like their naming process?
Yeah. I don't know, Big Sur, like it's I don't know. I get no one really calls it. No one's gonna call it by that name.
Oh, hell
Everyone's
no.
gonna call it macOS 11, right?
Yeah.
But they changed. Other than so like normally when they release a new version of macOS, they talk about like performance improvements and things under the hood. But this time, like they only talked about design, which I found really interesting.
Really surprising, yeah.
Maybe they've just got to like a limitation with how much like under the hood stuff they can do, which is why they're just having to refresh the UI.
Like they were speaking about like 50% faster than Chrome, and I was like, will it be? Like, will it really be? Because Chrome in my eyes just smashes Safari, but this update for macOS or Mac Big Sur, you can call it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like an iPad, like that you can see the really like the coercion between iPad and Mac now, and how they're possibly just going to integrate to one sometime in the future, or because Apple they're going to keep it separate and just like rinse the cache of everyone.
Yeah, well, I think it will stay separate. I think the
100%.
thing about it, particularly the UI changes, is to make the experiences as familiar as possible.
Right, that's it.
So for example, someone who has a Mac who doesn't have an iPad, is looking for a tablet, is probably only going to buy an iPad. And someone with an iPad who's looking to buy a computer would most probably like to buy a Mac because the experience is so similar. A lot of the gestures are the same.
Yeah.
They can use AirDrop, blah, 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 blah,
That
blah.
ecosystem, man.
Yeah, and that's the power, right? It's the power once you're locked in. And that's what everyone's trying to create, right? That's what Amazon are trying to create with the whole Alexa ecosystem, and Google are trying with the whole Nest stuff. But I think the biggest announcement of WWDC though is probably the most nerdy one.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll explain it for anyone watching that doesn't fully understand what the change is and what it will mean. So Apple have been running Intel processors. So the heart of a computer is the CPU, right?
Right.
It does all of the it's called it does all of the kind of computing and all of the knowledge. It's the brain of your computer, right?
Yeah.
And Apple have been using CPUs provided by Intel now for like, close to 20 years, I think.
A long time.
And Intel, as kind of years go on, Intel come up with new versions that are more powerful, etc., that require less cooling and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
However, in the more recent future, there's been a lot of problems with Macs and how. So obviously, as the CPU is the brain, right? When you put a lot of stress on it, when you're trying to do like really complicated things, it obviously gets very, very hot.
Mate, my Mac has been toasty over the past few days.
Exactly, right? And the whole thermal side of things has been one of the things that has kind of limited the performance of Macs.
Right.
Because obviously the Intel chips are not made for Mac. They're the same chips are used in Windows laptops and stuff too.
Yeah.
And so there's been, as Macs have tried to, become slimmer and slimmer and more kind of like thin.
Yeah.
That whole thermal and heating issue has become more and more of a problem, and it's causing like real like performance issues. So like, your computer may have actually a lot more performance and can do things a lot quicker
if you were sitting in a freezer.
or than you're actually experiencing because of the whole thermal management. So that, alongside a load of other reasons, but thermals are one of the key reasons, which is why Apple have decided now to make the move to using their own in-house built CPUs in the laptops, and possibly, I think they've said in the desktops in the future as well.
Right.
Now, that's a huge change.
Massive.
And the reason it's a huge change is, kind of Intel and AMD kind of own the CPU space. Like every computer, like 99% of computers in the world will have either an Intel or AMD processor in it. And so obviously apps, operating systems, everything are built to work on those.
Yeah.
And so there will be some transition period that happens whilst developers and all these other people build stuff for these kind of new Apple chips.
Which, can I quickly interrupt and say, is it going to be a 2-year transition, Apple said, which is perfect for me because my finance on this laptop is 2 years.
Yeah, well, it's going to be... But I think they said they're going to release the first Apple silicon-based
by the end
Mac
of this year, right?
By the end of this year, and then we'll see more over the coming years. But one of the other big reasons for them doing that is basically they control the entire thing.
Yeah.
Apple's CPUs have been in your phones from I think it's the iPhone 4?
4, yeah.
I think.
A4 chip.
Yeah, so they've been producing those mobile chips for ages. And the ones you find in the latest iPads and stuff, are plenty good enough to power your MacBook and MacBook Pros and things like that. So it'll be really interesting to see when these new ones do come out.
Yeah, man.
How they do perform. And I would, I have a PC, but I'll be very interested to see how those Macs turn out, because I think if they turn out as good as Apple think, then I think I might have to purchase a little one.
A little one. Yeah, hopefully they're under-promising and over-deliver on this.
Hopefully. But yeah, so that was kind of the biggest announcement, and to the end user, you don't see that much change. Everything will still look the same, but fundamentally, you're it's like a brain transplant, right? You gotta swap out the brain, but then you gotta make sure every other part of your body also works with the brain now.
Exactly, like applications, and this is why they have this transition period, right?
Yeah. That's why they have the transition period, and there will be some problems along the way. 100%, of course there will. But if you want to be one of those early adopters, then you take some of that pain, right? But hopefully, as you said, right, after that 2-year period, hopefully they'll be in a good position, and everything will be a bit more stable, which will probably be a good time to buy a new Mac.
I was just thinking about how the timing can be more perfect, to be honest. I'm so happy with that, because I thought they were going to come out with this new Mac full on dead on, and it's going to be perfect by the end of the year. Then I was looking up, what's the return date, how many days can it be, and all of this stuff. But when they said 2-year transition period, I was like, thank the Lord.
Yeah, and I like that transition really isn't something small. That's why it takes that long. It's a big deal, and it's really important, and that's why I think tech nerds all around the world have been making such a big deal out of it, because it is such a big deal, and it's Apple sells millions of Macs across the world every year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the coming years, but I'm excited. Maybe I'll have to pick up another Mac for myself.
And I might have to pick up another Mac.
Yeah, maybe.
And do another review. And
maybe
make some more YouTube videos.
Well, Final Cut's going to be optimized for it.
Oh.
So Final Cut should run hella quick. It runs hella quick anyway.
Yeah.
But it will run hopefully even quicker. But Adobe's software, all the Creative Cloud stuff is also has been made compatible with Apple's silicon.
Yeah.
So I would expect on Mac some like big increases in Premiere Pro and Photoshop and Lightroom and stuff like that. So that should be good.
It's exciting times, man. Everyone's probably just listening to this like, these two are nerds, bro.
Yeah, I realized that over the course of these podcasts, I'm coming across as a real nerd.
Yeah, legit.
But hey, you enjoy what you enjoy, and you know what you know, right? That's it.
Well,
Hopefully someone
that's
found
good.
out something new.
Hopefully they have. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this yet another great podcast.
Yeah,
hit that subscribe button.
Good. If you're not already, come on, guys. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, man. Yo, we should do those things like 55% of you are not subscribed. Subscribe.
I don't know my stats. Can I find out my stats?
We'll find out.
Hold up. I'm gonna find
out
my stats live. Live stat check. How do I find this out?
Yeah, might have to be a quick Google search for that.
Where would it be? It would be on YouTube Studio, right?
Yeah, probably 100%.
Analytics.
But whilst Kieran's trying to find that, let me update you guys about my YouTube. So I've been having a think. So I would say today was my thinking day for where I want to take my YouTube. So you're going to see a lot more videos with tech. A lot more tech videos and a lot more car videos. Because those are things I'm interested in.
Car videos?
Car videos.
That would be interesting.
Mate, it's coming.
All right, I found my stats.
Go on.
It's crazy. Only 8% of my viewers are subscribed. 91.7% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed.
This is what I mean.
Guys, what are you waiting for?
Yo, stop what you're doing now. Go subscribe.
Hit the sub. Hit the sub button. Yeah.
Perfect.
Right. Anyways, well, thank you guys for watching.
That's enough begging, isn't it?
That is enough. That is enough waffling. Yeah, it's definitely time to end now.
Alright, guys. Easy and take care.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Peace.